Welcome, welcome, welcome to an all new season of the Being Podcast. I am your girl, Jada, your host, and I am so excited to be here. I hope that if you are watching me, hey, if you're listening to me, welcome. Everyone, if you've been here before, if you're new, I'm just excited, right? And I say that probably every week. So if you are new, you will hear me say that like a lot because I am excited to be here. I am excited to, have this platform where I am able to come every week, every Wednesday to share things that are, on my mind, they're in my heart, they're things that I have most likely personally dealt with, or they may be things that I'm aware of, right? I'm aware of, and I know people that are going through it. So, therefore, I can bring people on. I often do bring them on to share different things. And so, I already have three amazing ladies that will be joining us very soon, where we are going to be getting into all the things, right? We have the wellness people, and not just, oh, we want you to work out and we want you to just, get through your New Year's resolution. No, not that. That is great. And I do work out. So if you follow me on any of my social media, when I am consistently, and I am getting back to that, consistently working out, I share my workout videos. I share the different things that I'm doing because that is part of it, right? I mean, our bodies, we only have this one. And if you're like me, I'm a mama bear of three, and they are 7 and then 3-year-old twins. And when I tell you they don't care about mama's newly turned 43-year-old niece, they don't. So, in saying that, yes, there is something like physically with working out, right? But there's also like the clarity that it brings. For me, it is like, Jada, you've set a goal for yourself, and this is part of it. So getting up and doing my 20 or 30 minutes, because I don't like to do more than that. If you do, it's all good. But it's something to move your body, and it has a lot of benefits. So, yes, I will have ladies on here that definitely get into that, get into the nutrition, because that's the other part of my life, right? That I really need to start being more intentional with and be more disciplined in. Those are my words, along with just doing it, like executing. But my eating isn't always the best, especially having the three littles, and it's like, okay, well, what can I grab? What can I get? What's quick? And then a lot of times I'm like, oh, all the mindset trash. I'm like, oh, well, I deserve to have this because I had a long day or whatever, right? So changing my mind so I can change my life. But also saying, hey, ladies, those of you that are into doing this, I need something that's going to be quick, and I need something that's going to be tasty, and I need something that I can probably eat in the car because I'm always in the car, right? So nutrition is part of it. So I have some really good people that can talk to us about that. I also have an amazing lady that's going to join us very soon, and she is all about hormonal balance. So y'all are probably like, Jada, what is going on? Like, you've been in your 40s now for a few years. What's going on? Well, what's going on is we can always learn. We can always get better. There's so many times where you might finally hit that stumbling block, and you're like, what gives? I'm doing the same things. So maybe it's something deeper. And I can only tell you what I know. So when I don't know it, that is the whole point of this part of this conversation. I'm bringing people in to do that. I also have a really good friend that is coming back. She was on the first season, and we're just going to talk about being resilient. We're probably going to touch a little bit on grief because we now actually, unfortunately, share, being in that club of losing a parent. In my case, I've lost both of my parents, right? So I am just excited because this season, although, and I'm gonna get into this in just a second, although we're gonna be hitting on these major topics I'm gonna get into, we do have some other things that we are going to either retouch on so we don't forget about it and we can continue to tweak that. And we're also going to just keep sharing things that we probably need to know that's going to help us be better. So, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Let me back up just one quick minute, especially if you're new, because I mean, if you've been rocking with me, you already know this is the Being podcast. So you're like, being what? We are being the best versions of ourselves that we can. And actually, it is really a safe space that I've created where we come together and we talk about and we inspire, we motivate, we encourage each other in the way that we think, right? And do we need to tweak how we think in terms of what we believe, how we engage, how we're innovative, how we navigate, and how we gain in every area of our lives. So that is the Being podcast because I don't want us to just be living and surviving. I want us to be thriving, right? And we may not be thriving in every area all the time, right? But we can always take the tools and gain the skills. And we have those in our kit bag. And then we go and we reach into them whenever we need them because life is going to life. Life is going to be throwing you stuff and you're like, I didn't call for that. I didn't send for you. Don't come over here, right? As they say. But we owe it to ourselves and we owe it to our families. We owe it to our friends, just our communities, anybody that we are showing up in our best, authentic, genuine selves. And a lot of times we are just like in that survival mode where, as I say, a lot of times we're playing whack-a-mole, right? Like, oh, what's coming up next? Oh, what's coming up? And I just want us to be thriving in the sense of like, hey, I am more proactive. If this happens, boom, I'm gonna do this, right? If this should happen, okay, I remember someone talking about it. Oh, let me go back and listen to that and see, or reach out to me, right? That's where I want us to be. So that is the point of the Being podcast. I am here every Wednesday, like I said, and usually the episodes you can get in, get out. I'm not going to hold you here forever, but in this first episode of season 3, I just want to touch on the things that are coming up and what I'm excited about. So I talked about, a few guests that I already have lined up, and then I will definitely be entertaining more so that we can continue to learn and engage and inspire and all the things with each other, right? But also, for me personally, things that I am going to be really focused on, if you will, this season is 3 main compartments to what I believe helps me and those that I help through coaching and that sort of thing, and mentoring and teaching is to reach our goals, right? The things that help us to move the needle a little bit forward every day, right? Because you don't have to do a whole lot all at one time, but those things are going to add up. So you take a step here, you take a step there, but we're making the steps forward, right? Because the small steps, as I always say, lead to the big changes and lead to goal accomplishment. So, number 1, I already kind of touched on it, right? Our mindset. I don't know when it was, but it hit me like our mindset is everything, in everything, right? So, how you think, what you're listening to, what you're watching, maybe what you're reading, or like me, if you're busy on Audible all the time. So, what are you listening to? Like all of that really impacts our thoughts, right? And the people we're around. Like who are the influences that are getting in and, maybe sharing their things, and then that kind of rubs off on you. And if you're not really prepared to like deal with that and have the tools to like give space without like taking it fully on so that you can continue to do what you need to do, like we need to get into that. And it starts with our minds, because where our minds tell us, our bodies will go. What we are thinking, what we are processing, what we are trying to, work through, those things are going to really like impact our thoughts, which definitely impact our words and our actions. So we have to start with the mind, right? And I've been there and I'm still there. Like none of us are perfect. We're never going to be perfect, but we can continue to work on just moving forward. We can okay, for example, I have a therapist. I see her, or, whether it's telehealth or in office, I see her at least twice a month because I have to work through things and process things. And so here recently, I had a session and we were talking, and I was like, yeah, this happened and it's disappointing for me, but I think on the flip side it really could be a blessing. And she was like, well, what do you mean? And so I talked through that, how therapists do us. I talked through it and she said, Jada, that was a great reframe. And what I thought that was so beautiful, it was something that I already knew. And that's the thing, ladies, we are so much greater, better, smarter, all the things, all the adjectives, right? We are more than we give ourselves credit for. So the things are already within us. It's just a matter of how we are able to take our mindset and shift it. So the other part that I feel is so beautiful about that is that it's not something that I personally get to experience and get to work through and become better. But it's something that I've actually been trained in as well, right? So I am a certified life and success coach. I am a certified EFT, emotional freedom technique. Technician, and tapping is amazing and it's a valuable tool, and we'll get into that later in the season. I am also a certified NLP, which is neuro linguistic programming, how our minds work, and then how you can take things, like she said, I reframed, but how we can take things and reframe it and turn it and switch it so that we can become better, so we can move forward. So we're going to get all into that because our mindset, everything starts there. So that's number one. Number two, we are going to get into communication. If you are looking at me, you're probably seeing all my expressions. If you are listening to me, hopefully you can hear the excitement in my voice, but the way we communicate, right? And so, not just with other people, but first with ourselves. How are you treating yourself? How are you talking to yourself, right? And not in the, ooh, girl, you cute. Oh, you know, and we need those moments too, but really in the, you know what, you deserve grace. Yeah, okay, you messed up. Cool. Have a moment, because I'm always telling myself, my 7 year old, even my 3 year old, because oh, she be going through it, y'all. Yes, at 3. To all of my friends, I'm like, have your moment when life is life and things are coming. And whether it's something that is exciting, maybe it's something that's upsetting, whatever the gamut of the emotion is, have your moment. Like, be in that, receive it, and then look at it and say, okay, what am I learning from this, right? Because we're not going to be in this failure. We're not going to be in this, oh, I'm so whatever, right? Fill in the blank of that negative thought. It's not about that. It's about, okay, this has happened. I can receive that. Okay, now how do I turn it to my good? How do I change that? How am I communicating with myself? Right? So yeah, I mean, I'm like, I am human. I will fair catch the things that I don't get right because I don't get it right all the time. But then I say, okay, so what is the end state that I was really, what was my intention? What am I really trying to get to? And then how do I change that and give myself the grace and the space? And maybe sometimes a kick in the butt if I need it, right? Then there's the other piece, right? Of how do you communicate with your tribe? You know, if you're married, or if you're in a relationship, or maybe it's like your sister friends, like how do you communicate to them so that they can help you in reaching your goals? And the other piece of that, which is huge, is about being accountable, right? Because if you keep it in your mind, you're like, okay, if you made it or not, it is what it is. Nobody knows. But when you're like, no, this is what I'm doing and getting after, and you share that with somebody, they're going to help you through love, whether that's super sweet, hey girl, you got it, or sis, what we doing, right? So we need that. So communication is so key to reaching your goals. And we'll get into those because I was about to get real excited and start digging into it. But we're going to work on, and talk about the different ways of communicating, the ways that you can plant seeds that you nourish and you water and you feed and you grow, and then before you know it, you are clicking on all cylinders. So we're going to get into communication. And the third piece is, how do we set up systems and routines? How do we get organized? How do we do that, right? So let me tell you, your friend here, I'm laughing because my poor husband, when we were dating, I remember he came down to visit me, and I always wanted 2 bedroom apartments because I didn't want people in my room, and I didn't want them in my bathroom because whatever, right? So I always had like 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms when I had apartments. And so he came down to visit, and he was like, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, cool, go in that bathroom. Like, oh, know you, right? But yeah. So he goes to the bathroom, y'all. And when he goes to the front, the first door, like he walked into the room and straight ahead was the bathroom. But he saw a door to the right, and he, I guess, assumed that was the bathroom. So he opened it, and it had like all this, I'm not gonna say junk. It was my stuff, right? So he's like, okay. He was like, this girl is like a hoarder. Well, I will tell you that I should look up the definition, but I definitely have I don't want to get rid of anything because I may need it one day. So if that's a hoarder, let me know. Maybe that's what it is. And so I have lived like that for years, like just held on to things. Like I'm that girl that has all the emails and all the text messages and all the things, which sometimes comes in handy. But I will tell you, here in like the last, I would say maybe the past 9 to 12 months, I've really had this epiphany of like, I've got to get my financials together. I want to ensure that like our house isn't, you know how like you're like, I'm a clean, and you move like one pile from this room to another room, you're like, oh, that room is clean, but now you have it over here. I'm like, no, when I go through it, I want to really go through it, and I want to organize it, and I want it to be really pretty. So that is what I'm in. And I went to a seminar not too long ago, and I sat with a lady that does financials, and we were talking, and I was kind of explaining this, and she said, and I said, I'm just in this mode of now I want to declutter and like just get it organized. And she said, you know what, there is definitely correlations when you're decluttering to how your life runs, how you are able to think. And I'm sure you've heard that, but we're going to get all into that, because when we're having the organization, when we're decluttering, and whether that's like physical stuff, or if it's back to number one, the mindset, like how are we getting through these things so that we can clear that out, gain clarity, and move forward. Also within, systems and organizations, I mean, eventually I'm looking at it like, I know I need to be living in what they say is your zone of genius. Like, what are the things that you're really good at that you need to give more time to, and what are the things that we can delegate? Yes, Superwoman. I know. I'm like you. It's hard. Well, it used to be hard. I'm getting better. And I want to help you to get better of like delegating, because we feel like if we don't do it, family, society, friends, whoever is going to look at us like, "Ooh, oh my God, this is what you prayed for. And now you're not." I mean, like, why do you have? Because we can, and we need it. We need the village. We need the people that can help us in taking care of everything, because we can't do it all on our own, right? And I'll probably get kind of into like Proverbs 31, right? When you look at her, she had a staff. She had people helping her. It wasn't all on her. So I want us to be that, right? And we're going to get into that with the systems and the routines and the organization. I want to get into my calendar blocking and kind of help you with that, because I've definitely revamped mine, and I'm super excited about that. So this season, it's going to be fun and laughter and just setting us up for success, like getting those real foundations. Yes, I have mentioned this in season one. Yes, we touched on it again in season two, but now we are really going to start doing the work. You and me, we're going to do this work, because it's not just about us. It's definitely about the people that we support. It's about the people that are looking to us to help them to get through their things. So we have to make sure that we are, setting ourselves up for success to help them be successful. We have to make sure that we are pouring in to ourselves so that we are not pouring from empty cups, because we cannot. And we want to do this where there's an ease and there's a flow. Last year, if you listened, if not, go check them out. But I talked about bamboo a lot, right? Because we have to be able to bend and not break. And it's going to be more of that. But I think this year, I'm kind of more in like flow. Do the things that are going to put you in flow so that you are doing things at ease, and then you're feeling comfortable, you're feeling confident, you're showing up, your mind is clear, you are communicating to who needs to be communicated to, and you got these systems and routines in place. So people looking at you like, but how? You're like, come in, let me share with you, let me pour into you, let me help you out, because if I can do it, you can do it. So that is what we're getting into. I am so excited. Thank you for riding with me. Thank you for sharing. Please share. Please go and leave a comment. I'm going to do better at my YouTube channel, so you can go out and see me if you want. But I appreciate you, and I love you for just being here and allowing me the space. And if I'm able to touch you in any kind of way, please let me know. Please let me know, because that definitely helped me last season to keep pushing and to keep going. And we all have a purpose. We all have passions. We're going to align those through those three pillars, through our mindsets, through our communication, and through our systems and our routines. And I just thank you for being here. So let's get it. We got work to do, and we have lives to thrive in. So we are going to do all this so that we are all continuing to, go on that journey of being who we've been called to be. All right. See y'all soon. Bye.